So this is how I was able to make over $750 within 30 minutes of trading. I want to show you guys the trade, really explain how I found the trade in the first place, where my head was, why I entered, trade plan, all that good stuff, in hopes that you guys can learn from this. So right now we're on QQQ on a 5-minute time frame. None of this was here. The only thing that was here when we started our day was our key daily zones. All right, so I always start on the daily, and my goal is to find high probability key significant zones of support resistance that I could look to trade off of intraday as a day trader. So one of the first areas that I marked up this morning, being a key daily zone that I wanted to keep on watch, was this zone right here between 515.39 to 515.57. If you guys want to learn more about how I do my top-down analysis and how I find these daily zones, you guys could literally just go over to marketchatter.io, because I don't have the time to explain it in this video. Go to marketchatter.io, go to free training, scroll on down to where it says top-down zoning, assessment, opening bell preparation, and I actually take about 30 minutes to walk you through how I identify these zones, why these zones are significant to me, so you guys can find them yourself. But I had a key zone here. We actually validated that zone further yesterday on a smaller time frame. So if you actually go look at that zone yesterday, we saw a break and retest off that zone before hitting new all-time highs. So we further validated that zone yesterday as we had good price development around that zone. So that was the zone that I was really looking at here today, was to see if we could get up into the zone and really to see what's going to happen. And there's going to be one of three things that happen off key daily zones. Number one, nothing happens, right? It just chops around the zone. It's not respected. That's one of three things that are going to happen. Number one, nothing. Number two, it'll come up to that zone, top on out. You'll have more sellers than buyers, which would make for a good short position. Or you'll come up to that zone and break above it because buyers are in control. We'll see it retest and buyers will continue to push it higher. Those are the three things that are going to happen off our key daily zones. Number one, nothing. Number two, it's going to get rejected. Or number three, it's going to break, hold it, and then push higher. So I already knew coming into this trade that I just need to wait for price development and price action to really allow me to validate what side of the trade should I get in on. And so we opened way down here. So when we open down here, I need to ask myself, are we at any key daily zone? No. So what do? I do nothing. I literally wait for the market to come to me and come to one of my key zones first. So as we notice the Qs open, we start to push up and we're getting near this zone. I'm starting to build some trade plans. If we break it and hold it, what's my plan to get long? If we come up into this zone and we top on out and we fail to break through it, what is my plan to get short? And so I'm not just looking at one side of the trade. I'm not saying, okay, here's my break and retest plan, let's wait. I'm saying, okay, that's a good long plan if it sets up long, but is it going to set up long? What if it sets up short? Let me have an opposite plan in place just in case. So I build my long plan for potential break and retest. I have my plan built, ready to go. All I have to do is execute if that trade presents itself. And then I simply do the complete opposite. I build a plan to the short side. So if the short's setting up, all I have to do is simply execute. I don't have to fumble and scramble to try and build a plan as the trade's actually setting up. What I need to be doing is executing when the trade is setting up, and I already have my plan built ahead of time. So my plan was already built to the long side and the short side at this point in time. I'm thinking if we break it, hold it, what's my plan to get long? If we come up and top on out, what's my plan to get short? Now, the last thing to do is simply wait for the stock to come to me to get to that zone, and then I just analyze it in real time to see what side of the trade do I want to get in on. So we come up to that zone, we drop. Great price action. We came to a key zone, we see more sellers than buyers, we drop. Buyers step in momentarily, push it up a little bit higher, but sellers step in and say, not today. Just for buyers to push it into that zone again and reject. That's where I took my first position. Right there along that lower high off of my key zone of daily resistance. So there's my first entry, stops over a high a day. So you can see my stops are nice and tight. What I'm doing is I'm looking left to gauge profit targets along the way down. So those are all of my profit targets into these lows, into this low, into that low, and that's where I'm looking to trim and take profit off the table if we get there. So I could already see when I'm making my entry, putting stops over high a day, I already know that my risk reward is at least 2 to 1, 3 to 1, and that's what I want to see, and those are the types of trades I want to be in. Stock comes up to my zone, I wait for price action to validate what side of the trade I should get on. We see the drop, I'm thinking short. We come back up into it, we break above it, but it's not a strong break, nor is it a retest, so I'm still not thinking long, and then we get brought back down by sellers. So now I'm thinking short at my zone of resistance along an intraday low or high. So I know my entries are going to be at my zone, stops over high a day, and I have some intraday confluence as well. What's my intraday confluence? Intraday low or highs forming off of a key daily zone of resistance. So I make my entry, we drop, we come back up, we start to fall again, I add to my position, stops are still over high a day. I'm looking left to gauge where should I take profit and sell this position. And just like that, after my second add, we get a nice flush. I take initial profits, we bounce a little bit, we roll just a little bit lower into my second target. I take a little bit more profit here. Then as we start to see that we're forming a short-term double bottom off that prior low and we start to see this push, I know that that's where I need to close my position in its entirety. And so just like that, within literally less than 30 minutes of trading with very low risk and really nice reward, I was able to make over $750 in less than 30 minutes of trading. That's what my trading comes down to. It's not rocket science. It's not complex. I'm not using the MACD with the RSI and all of these indicators. Literally, I'm not doing any of that. I'm coming in the morning before market open, and I'm doing my top-down analysis from the daily to the 4-hour to the 1-hour, and I'm finding all of my key zones, all of my key levels. Then I'm done. Then I let the market open at 9:30, and I wait for the market to come to one of my zones first. As we start to near a zone, I start to think, what could happen off of my zone? And I know one of three things are going to happen off my zones. We explained those 1 to 3 reasons off top resistance. So what if we were coming down into support, right? I'm still looking at, okay, there's 1 to 3 things that are going to happen. Number 1, nothing happens. We just chop around. Number 2, we come down and hold that level as great intraday support. Or number 3, we crack it, retest it, and see the move lower. So once I have an idea of what is realistically going to happen at the zone, I can start to build trade plans, right? Trade plan to the long side, trade plan to the short side. Same thing off resistance, trade plan to the long side, trade plan to the short side. I'm looking at both sides of the market. I'm not biased. I'm not long biased. I'm not short biased. I'm not a bull. I'm not a bear. Bulls and bears get slaughtered, right? I am literally neutral. I'm right down the middle. I look at both sides of the market. Once I have my plans established and created, all I have to do is wait for the stock to actually get to the zone, watch price action, read price development in real time, and let how price is moving validate what side of the trade should I get in on. Should I get into the long side? Should I get into the short side? And all I have to do at that point in time is make a decision based on what price action is telling me, because I already have a plan built. I'm ready to rock and roll. All I have to do is execute flawlessly once price action tells me what side of the trade I should get in on. And again, that's my methodology. That's how I trade. It's simple. Find zones, wait for stock to get to key zone, let price action validate what side of the trade to get on, make sure I have a plan built, be positioned correctly, take profits accordingly, and just like that, rinse and repeat that methodology. Rinse and repeat that style of trading, and that's how I'm able to come in, make money, get out, and now I'm done for the day. I don't have to do anything else for the rest of the day. I've already exceeded my $500 goal. I'm done. I'll come back tomorrow, do the same thing. If there's an opportunity, I'll take the trade. Rinse and repeat, this simple, and this is what makes me over 6 figures a year by simply being able to average $500 a day in trading profits. And just like that, up $258. Yesterday I made like $250. I've already made $1,000 in the last 2 days in no more than an hour of trading, keeping it this simple. So if you're watching this video, it should motivate you that, hey, it's possible to come in, spend the least amount of time in the market to make the absolute most amount of money. Number one. Number two, trading doesn't have to be complex. Trading can be really, really simple. And my trading is simple. Where are the indicators? Where are the moving averages? Where's all my lines and all the mess? There's none. It's super simple, but very effective to where I can trade less and make more. So if you guys take anything away from this, it's you can come in, spend the least amount of time in the market, make a lot of money, and trading doesn't have to be overly complicated. You could keep it simple. Meanwhile, make sure it's very, very effective as well. Hopefully you guys learned something from this lesson. Hopefully you guys learned something from the video. If you have any questions, drop some comments. Make sure you guys go over to marketchatter.io again. Check out some free trainings. The one training that I want to put you guys on is the training where we go through top-down zoning, assessment, and opening bell preparation. That's going to teach you how I find my zones, number one. Number two, the importance of waiting for the market to come to you. What I just expressed. When the market opened, it wasn't near a zone. I sat back and I waited. Beautiful. That's going to help you, again, understand how to be patient and why it's important to sit back and wait for the market to come to you. Then, how I build a trade plan and how I calculated risk-reward day trading options. That's number three. Go watch that. That's going to help you build your plans. When you're actually taking trades, how to look at price action, how to look at other indicators and tools for confluence to make sure that your trades are of highest probability. That's the next lesson to go watch. And then lastly, mindset is so important. If that trade was a losing trade, how do I overcome the fact that that was a good trade if it was a loss? Instead of letting my emotions heighten, come back in and revenge trade, always keeping myself in check, having a well-developed, strong mindset is key to make sure that you don't get wild after a nice win and go out there thinking that you're the best of the best, and then you give those profits back. Or if that was a losing trade, how do you overcome the loss and bounce back and not let the losses phase you? You need to have a rock-solid mindset developed. Number five, how to develop a mindset that supports your success in trading. Literally all of the trainings and lessons that we have over at marketchatter.io will teach you exactly what I'm doing in the market to be able to come in, spend less than 30 minutes, be able to lock in $750 in that amount of time, but only risking $150 to make that. So check out the lessons. Enjoy those. If you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. Josh at m3tradingpros.com. You guys can book a call with me over on the Market Chatter website if you want to learn more about working with us. But hopefully this helps. Hopefully those trainings help. And other than that, happy, safe trading. I'll see you in the next video.